Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, Unocoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the Unocoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
Yes! Unocoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the Unocoin app.
Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the Unocoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the Unocoin app.
Okay, and once again we are live. Welcome back everyone to Unocoin's weekly live. This is Shambhavi Soni, your host for today. And आज हम बात करने वाले हैं काफी खास टॉपिक के बारे में जो कि आज के समय में आपके लिए जानना बहुत जरूरी है. That is on how to avoid FOMO and over trading, क्योंकि हमें पता है मार्केट इस समय कितना ज्यादा स्टैग्नेंट चल रहा है. आने वाले टाइम में शायद हम और ज्यादा वॉलिटिलिटी देखने वाले हैं, एंड इसके बीच बहुत ज्यादा फोमो होने वाला है. सो आज हम समझेंगे कि फोमो क्या होता है, इसको कैसे अवॉइड किया जाए, विद समवन हु हैज बीन इन द इंडस्ट्री फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम. एंड Sathvik, welcome so much on our episode today, and we're going to have a great discussion today. How are you?
I'm doing good, Shambhavi. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm actually quite surprised to see the market right now because it's a bit stagnant from the 51,000 position to 52,000 position, and a lot of FOMO is happening right now. A lot of liquidity might happen in the coming few days, or ये सारी चीजें eventually will lead to a very huge wave of FOMO because 50,000 something very close to our last all-time high, and still we are closer to it.
You cannot forget numbers. You cannot forget numbers. Okay, anyway.
$68,000. So we'll be coming there soon. But then again, 50,000 is a mark that is a big enough number right now, and we're hoping to see another whole time high soon, maybe post halving or something. But right now, Satvik, a lot of new folks are flocking to our space right now, the space of crypto, because once again, Bitcoin is a great topic of discussion. And amid all of this, we see a lot of FOMO happening as well. And I remember this happened when last year a lot of people entered the market when it was 65, 60, even 68 at that. And then it went down, and that is something that might trigger a FOMO. So you have been in the market since like 2010, like it was after Bitcoin was started in 2009. So I'm sure you must have seen so many cycles and seen so many kinds of FOMO and so many kind of other emotional feelings of fear and greed. So you've been here for so long. How did you rise above all of those feelings in the first place?
See, when it comes to emotions, whether it is positive or negative, it is like literally extremely strong when it comes to crypto. Um, Someone who is making really good money, so the emotions are very different from as compared to people who have just lost money because they are doing the opposite of the trade. So when it comes to trading, that's the beauty of it. When someone is gaining, there will be someone else who is losing, or who would have got that profit, and now they don't have that profit because someone else took it, right? But overall, if you see the crypto industry, and even though it's a very, very risky industry, this doesn't appear to me as a zero sum game, which means whoever trusts in it and are holding it for a little longer are able to make money over a period of time, as long as they're not doing extremely stupid things. When it comes to equity and commodity markets, the chances of you being successful um, will only be there if you are at least 55% correct in your trades, for example. But when it comes to crypto, that's possible even if you're just 30%, because the market itself sometimes take you where you should go. So you don't need to beat that market to prove yourself to be more intelligent. And the amount of factors that actually kinds of comes into picture, um, that will manipulate or that would make the prices volatile, is not related to one country. It's pretty much global in nature. So all of that combined, I have understood that beyond a point, any kind of research is insufficient. So if we all believe that this technology is something that will stay for long and it will help people for long, now I would be putting more efforts in designing my portfolio than my trading strategy. So if I say, okay, fine, this is the way I want my portfolio to be, irrespective of whether the price of individual items in my portfolio, it is high or low, maybe sometimes I just go and buy, um, and hope that the entire portfolio will do better because I would have made enough research on it. Else, the research that you need to do is extremely, like, it's extensive on day to day, and trying to beat the market uh, may or may not work, right? So yeah, keeping all of this in mind, day traders or someone using high frequency trading strategies and algorithms and servers, etc. Uh, so usually they'll be hedging in one place and doing the trades in another place to do that arbitration. But apart from them, the ones which just have impulse reactions and trying to buy and sell, saying that you'll be able to make money out of it, I have not seen much of successful people in doing that. So there are more people being successful in either mid-term holdings or long-term holdings. So that's what I think it is right now.
I completely agree. In the comment section, we have the money who's saying, please हिंदी में बोलो जी. The money, आपके जो भी सवाल है आप बिल्कुल हिंदी में पूछिए और हम पूरी कोशिश करेंगे कि आपको जवाब हम उसका हिंदी में दे सकें. बाकी this is a very vernacular friendly show, तो हम यहाँ पे Sathvik can help you with Kannada answers as well and also in Telugu. So आपको आपकी जो भी लैंग्वेज है आप बिल्कुल आप उसमें सवाल पूछिए and we'll be very happy to answer आपकी ही भाषा में. So आप हिंदी में कोई भी सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. Please go ahead. So Satvik, another thing that I gather from here is something that people need to do is research. Now, what has led crypto market towards mass adoption mostly is the insane gains it has given in certain bull cycles, and people get attracted to it very quickly because money is something that everybody wants, and it's the prima facie that it's a get rich quick scheme, for anyone who's not been in the space or doesn't know about it, which is not true. I also believe one good way to avoid FOMO is to understand a certain project that you're willing to invest in, and that'll give you a certain amount of knowledge on the longevity of it, the kind of problem it is solving, and all the other things. But Satvik, from you as well, we saw so many after Bitcoin came into the picture. We saw so many altcoins coming in, namely Namecoin. Then Litecoin came into the picture, followed by Ethereum. Then there was a burst of ERC20 tokens solving different futuristic problems. Now, amid all of this, there was also a very good amount of growth in the trading scenario of it, because any investment market is half trading, half investment. So people happen to, like you said, people want to make short term profits and all of these things without doing much of a research, and they end up losing a lot of amount in this, and then they kind of start hating crypto market as a whole because they think of it as too volatile. Now, looking at history, we also know any investment market, be it stocks or anything, has been super volatile, right? So amid all of this, there are opportunities to make profits from volatility as well if you think it through and everything properly. Now, what I want to ask here is, where does it relates to trading? Because we have seen a lot of signs where FOMO just overtakes all sorts of research we are doing and all sorts of things we are doing. So, in order to maintain a certain emotional balance, what is something that you would suggest?
Okay, so it's actually tricky. I think discipline is the key, right? Unfortunately, crypto market is like 24/7. It's not like your traditional markets of equity commodity. You have 2 days where nothing happens, and in other days it's 8 hours or 12 hours or whatever number of hours. So there is time to breathe, there is time to take rest, there is time to spend with family and such. When it comes to crypto, it is not. I know people who just wakes up just to see what is the price of some crypto and just try to go back to bed, and they do it at least like 5 times, 8 times a day in the midnight. So which means almost hourly they are waking up. So and lot of times the concentration they usually have on other works apart from staring at the screens and trying to do some kind of mathematics and analytics and trying to see how much of profit. So in everything they do, kind of they lose concentration. So it's kind of mental well-being will get affected, family relationships will get affected, friends and family, the way you see things, and they'll have like short temper, and all of that will kind of start kicking in if you just overdo whatever you're doing over a period of time, maybe 6 months or anything more than that. So, and people should not try to chase every opportunity, and they should not compare someone else's gain with their own gain. Okay, it's always true that, say, did not I tell you, why didn't you invest in Dogecoin? See, I made so much money out of it. Fine, you took different risks, and you are taking different risks. And if if there is someone who could cash in on every opportunity, if have someone have that kind of foresight and they are able to magically be able to do, they'll already be the richest person in the world. So that is like not going to happen. Even Warren Buffett cannot do it. So now it comes down to how to maximize it only. It's not like how to make money out of every little thing. It is just not definitely not going to work. So for that to happen, one should have some kind of trading strategy in mind. I would say if you're having a portfolio of 100 rupees in crypto, you should not be using all 100 for very frequent trading. There should be some part which you are keeping it for long term and at least medium term, and the ones for short term should not even be like 20%. So which is used for various crypto assets, which could help you get better gains, but that is coming at the same amount of risk or maybe higher risk sometimes. So this crypto market has been the best performing market when it comes to especially Bitcoin, I mean to say, over the past 10 years. And someone thinking they can beat that market really need to be smart enough. And if they are not smart enough, then all they had to do was invest in Bitcoin. Okay. So keeping these things in mind, one should have a better portfolio planning and plan to some extent midterm and long term investments, at least like 70-75% of it. And for the remaining, try to maintain some kind of discipline of how much effort you are putting into it and how you are monitoring into it, and when you want to cash out, learn about stop loss and other features so that it won't create extremely high losses over a period of time. So one should maintain a very calm mind to see things and be able to accept losses, and also if they're getting profits, then just because you got profit once does not mean you get it again and again. You try to do it again and again and you lose it. So I mean, a lot of I used to teach some of my friends that for the best of the equity trading and whatnot, the one who loses initially will be the luckiest, because the ones who wins initially just feels that they can keep on doing it all again and again and again and again and again, and after winning once they will actually lose 10 times sometimes, thinking that they'll be able to repeat the history. But why they won first time? Maybe it's out of luck, or maybe they just got some kind of insight saying that okay, he was saying silver will go up and I want to invest. It will not happen and again. So um, when it comes to crypto, people usually have a better chance because there is equally higher risk, and its a real risk to reward ratio uh, is extremely low. In other words, for the amount of risk that you could take, the rewards will be higher. So what do I mean by it? If you are taking the risk of 100 rupees, there is a good chance that it will become 300, 500. Okay, but 100 rupees should not be all the money that you have. If you have
Exactly.
10,000 rupees, then you take 100 rupees for this, then it will make sense. Don't invest more money than what you can afford to lose.
So true, 100%. And this, I know it's funny that I keep saying this in all of our AMAs, Satvik, but I feel like our SBP is designed in such a nice way that it's solution to all of these FOMO issues, all sorts of issues at all. Just simply set up an SBP, separate out some money that you don't need in a month, keep investing it, set it periodically, weekly, daily, what howsoever you want it, and just keep investing on with a regular time period. There's no chance of any FOMO if you're doing that, because you know that you're averaging the cost of purchase with the use of SBP. So we have some comments over here, Satvik. Azad Sheikh here is saying, hi, can we meet you? Azad, we very often do nice meetups and everything. If you're in Bangalore, please do come. Stay tuned on our social media. Whenever we'll be doing our next meetup, we'll put it on our socials. So definitely you can come through that. Rahul Sharma is saying, but I am all in Bitcoin. Okay, Rahul.
A lot of us are like that. Yeah, I know.
Yes, a lot of us like that. 100%. So, Satvik, now talking about a very recent example, when the ETF was launched, there was an extreme amount of FOMO in the market about getting rejected, it getting approved, logical reason, illogical reasons. Eventually, we saw it being approved, and then suddenly the market dipped in a span of 2 to 3 days, and it went down to like $38,000, and which was very interesting because there's this concept of buy the news and sell the news, which I learned about at that point of time because I apparently never bothered to know about any of these things.
It's buy the news and sell the rumor, no? I think something like that.
Yes, buy the news, sell the rumor. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
So, in such cases, how do you ideally analyze that particular situation if that's going to happen?
See, retrospectively, I can pass on some comments about it. But if I was, let's say, standing in January 1st before the ETF, can we predict something like that? My answer would be tougher. It's not right. So, but retrospectively, it does make sense. It's kind of, dots will get connected no matter what. Okay, so yes, a lot of people knew for sure or have the highest belief that the ETF will get approved because they know the rules of how the United States works and such. But from my understanding itself, I did not understand that it was almost certain that ETF is going to approve. It was like, okay, there is a date, and a lot of dates are over. This time there is more hopes. So the extent to which the percentage of chances, that's good. So a lot of people bought Bitcoin and were holding it and were hyping it and were talking about it because ETF is going to get approved. And that actually creates so much of um, buzz in media and social media, and also word of mouth and anything we can think about, which actually makes people to get into it sooner, or at that point of time saying that, okay, like so much of news is there, it looks like something is happening, it's good, you buy now, kind of thing. But after the ETF approval happened, it did start dipping immediately, but I think it took a day or two, right? So that is when people who knew how the market works, because it is a fact and that fact is now over, it is now set in stone, it is not going back. So after ETF approval is over, there are obviously a lot of sellers who waited for it, and now the prices have gone up, started selling. In parallel to this was the GBTC issue, right? So where a huge number of Bitcoin initially they had, and now they were converting it into ETF itself, and a lot of people were exiting from it. So there was a lot of exits that was happening directly from ETF, which was not bought after the ETF was successful. So all of that combined created some dip, but that lasted for about say 10 12 days or so. I would
Yes,
still
it's not
say
much.
than the news it is the GBTC which actually created that, right? So there's a lot of people who are selling it, a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot of people, it's a lot of volumes, to be specific. Okay, so once that actually kind of surfaced out to some extent, saying that okay, this is like, and it's like input and output is kind of becoming equal, people became confident that okay, the kind of selling that's happening is now over, and it should start going up. And that's what has happened so far. So there are external forces, there are predictable forces, but you can never say. No one foresaw that lot of people from GBTC would actually give up their volumes and, I mean, like exit their positions to such an extent that whatever actually happened. And now in upcoming next 2 months or so, we also have halving, right? So that is also a sure shot event. So in a way, that is already priced in the Bitcoin. So just because halving is getting closer, one should uh, not become the prey for people who want to hype that up, right? And if you still become a prey, that's okay. But as soon as the halving is over, and if you think you cannot afford to keep it for long term, you better exit and maybe enter it when it is little bit more stable. So these events little bit are strong, and it can create volatile markets maybe. But last halving did not happen that way. It was quite stable. But this time, I think the number of people who are into the Bitcoin space and the amount of FUD that is around and FOMO around actually scares anyone. Can you? This is still fine to get in at this price and still be able to make profit. So if you see within the last 2 years, we are already on the all-time high. But the highest point we saw was $69,000. So, but we may see that number sometime this year. It looks like that. If we are to just go.
It's very interesting how this entire concept of halving is happening, and it was designed this way. I have a very interesting question amid the current market situation and the halving coming up, but we see a lot of interesting comments right here, so let's have a look at them and then I'll jump on to the question that I have. Abhijit here is saying good evening. Just about to speak SVP, you told, so thanks SVP Zindabad. Yeah, I mean Abhijit, I so agree. Rahul says I'm all in Bitcoin. I would say that I'm all in SVP. That's my kind of a thing. Azad is saying, and in Mumbai, the meetup. Azad, we don't have any plans as of now. I think Sathvik can tell you better about any plans of meetup in Mumbai.
No, right now it's not, but I think it again depends upon the demand. So if we usually when we get requests on support@unocoin.com that they want something, we will actually, even though we reply simply saying that sure we have made a note of it, we'll get back. We actually maintain that like statistics to see from which places what kind of requests are coming. Let's say if we happen to get 500 or so within the last 6 months or 1 year, then it's a good time for us to actually look into it. Our offices only exist in Bangalore and Turkur, which is like a twin cities kind of thing in Karnataka. So, however, we of course are interested to have meetups across India, and if there are volunteers who want to organize meetups on behalf of Unocoin um, in your own cities, in wherever you are, and if you believe you can pull together at least 50 crypto enthusiasts, then definitely let us know. We want to hear from you.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Uh,
just go to meetup.com, have built up some community, right? So, and once you have 50 or so, if you say that, yeah, we want to sponsor, or we want to know how to sponsor it, and we will see what best we can do. Maybe at least help you with the venue and food, and maybe hopefully one of us at least fly there to meet people.
No, it's a very interesting thing, Satvik. Even lately, I was thinking of doing something very similar on weekends. I would just go to the neighboring cities, or if I'm going to, because recently I had this plan of going back to my college city as well. I was thinking, yeah, I'll go there, I'll do this little get together, and I'll talk about Bitcoin over there, because people really need to learn at the grassroots level. Right now, the people we are talking about at least know a little about this particular industry, but at grassroots level there are so many more people who could benefit from this industry as a whole, and it's very necessary to give the right knowledge, because there are a lot of bad actors out there who are gonna just manipulate people. Again, if me going there would be very hard for them to differentiate if I am a bad actor myself, but then that's a good thing. And Azad, if you
As long as you don't promote some random ICO, you should be fine.
no, that is not my plan. Okay. Azad, if you want to organize one, please let us know. We'll be very happy to do something. Abhijit is saying very true. SBP eliminates FOMO and leverage trading as far as crypto world is concerned, especially BTC. 100%.
I mean, we
I
we
think,
have an SBB for Ether as well,
yes.
and people can set that amount starting from 10 rupees all the way up to 50,000 per interval, and that interval being daily, weekly, or monthly. So,
I
yeah,
think your audio is really low.
sorry.
Your audio is really low. I'm not able to hear your voice on full volume.
Now, I was just saying, apart from Bitcoin, we also have it for Ether, and that starts from 10 rupees all the way up to 50,000 rupees per interval, which is daily, weekly, or monthly. So
Yes.
yeah, welcome for people to do. Sure.
So Satvik, now that we are talking about SBP, I know it's a little not exactly off the topic, but something specific. Unocoin was the first in the country to create a system for crypto investing or Bitcoin investing with a thing called SBP, or let's say systematic buying plan or systematic investment plan. How did you guys come across this idea? Because you guys were too early to start something like that, and it was mind blowing.
No, I mean, when it comes to Indians, right, there, if you're talking about 2014, there are only limited number of people who are talking about Bitcoin and who want to invest. But their biggest worry is, okay, I invest today. What if the price of it goes down to half of what it is tomorrow, right? And that was actually possible in 2014. So now, I'll say, I mean, at most you may lose 3%, 5%. But if you think you cannot afford to further lose it, just exit your position. So your losses is limited to limited amount of percentage. At that time, it was not so, right? So we have seen even 60% fall in a single day, 60%. Okay.
That's a huge
So
number.
at that time, you cannot even imagine that today. Yes, so at that time we thought, okay, we need some tool for our users to average the cost of Bitcoin over a period of time. And this SBP kind of thing is available as SIP in mutual funds. So, but it said systematic investment planning. We were not sure if it can be called investment, even though initially we called it as SIP itself. But we then just named it as systematic buying plan, right? So, because you're buying anyway, it's crypto assets. Yeah, that's how the idea of SBP came into picture in 2014, and since then I would say more than 95 96% of the people who have invested through SBP for longer terms, like more than few months or more than few years, or all of them are in profit. So that's the beauty of it. it
That
just
is
it just gives you the exposure. It gives you the time for anything else that you want to do, because now you are not researching on things day in and day out, right? And now you don't have that FOMO, and you don't undergo the pressure of FUD. And if someone still says that, look, you have to invest in that and this, you can always argue saying that, I have my exposure, whatever I need in crypto. So you need not be so stressed, and you know that over a period of time, if a specific coin apart from Bitcoin and any other coin is benefiting, overall crypto is improving. And a big part of that actually comes down to Bitcoin as well. And even if I see today, I think Bitcoin dominance is like around 50 to 50%. So more than half of the entire crypto is Bitcoin. Not today, not that day, almost have been that way. In between, it went up to 30, 33, 40% when it was very good altcoin market. But 50 is a very reasonable assumption to keep. So which means at least you're taking advantage of half of the market fully. So yeah, that has been our thought process as well. And we have SPP since then. So we have like thousands of people for whom we sell Bitcoins and every midnight at 12 a.m.
Yep. And like it's an amazing feature, to be very honest, and I feel like it's so useful for the people who are new to the system, especially because
Yeah.
timing in the market, like you just mentioned, timing the market and outperforming your expected research with the market dynamics, it's very very difficult. And even the seasoned traders kind of lag behind on that front very often. So, okay, there's another interesting question over here before I ask you another one of my questions. Neetu here is asking, what do you think the narrative for 2024 bull run is going to be like?
It's tough to think of right now, but now we have to start thinking who has lot of money and are yet to get broad exposure to crypto, right? So that will be the answer, right, almost. So there was at one point of time there was techies, so which kind of learned that is all about that, and very much like a common man, that was about 2017, right? And 2020 21 was more institutional in nature. And to me, because of introduction of ETF and everything as well, this time it could be family offices and hedge funds, and also women. I guess a lot of them are yet to get exposure to crypto, and in many places, uh, women manage finances for men, especially in household. So there could always be could always be, even though it's too many in number and smaller when it comes to volumes, but all of that combined may add up, I think. Uh, so those are the ones which are left out, with which could, if you start taking exposure aggressively into Bitcoin and other crypto assets, it could be built up. But adding to that, the common man whom we saw to be active in 2017, institutional investors, 2021, all of them are still continuing as well. So it is just like the more and more people are getting on the bandwagon, and the number of people who are getting off are very very less. So all of that combined, sure, with probably we should lead to bull run. And I don't know, 24 would still be bull run. I'm hopeful 24 and 25 combined will be something in the history.
I think soon enough we're gonna stop talking about bull runs and bear runs, because we're gonna see a market progress in a very positive direction altogether, and hopefully everybody will have enough knowledge by that time to understand these dynamics. So, like you just mentioned, Satvik, okay, we have this one question over here. We'll take that, and Neetu here is again asking, when I mean narrative, it's about RWA, AI, or BRC20.
I don't think any of them. I don't think any of them. See, if those things have to come, probably it may create some bullish market for some altcoins, right? But if you're talking about entire crypto market as a bull run, these things will not be that much contributing. I don't think so. There may be a good chance that these are more prominent contributors after a few more years. Um, just because tech is going really good and a lot of community involvement is there, it also depends on how many people are putting money. And is it like common men putting money or bigger people putting money? The tech for Bitcoin was always been good, but it took a lot of time for a common man to start putting money, almost like 7 8 years, say 2017, right? And for institutions, it took another 4 extra years. So, and when it comes to artificial intelligence, we are talking about that maybe what, 20 years already, no matter what. And now it is just becoming more talked about because of the processor speeds, the memory and storage cost, I mean, total overall total cost of ownership. All of them is slowly going in its favor. And there is again a good chance that beyond a point, the present whatever AI development that we are seeing will not be able to get through because we don't have that kind of tech yet, right? And when that tech comes, maybe in another 3 years or 5 years, again there will be lot of things talked about to go to the next steps. So whatever is like, I wish I had this also happening, computers doing it for me, but we don't have it yet. It just means that the present processors and memory and storage and affordability of it is not supporting. So and then when it comes to BRC20, it's like just again another protocol. A lot of people are try to take advantage because it's a new protocol. There will be people who come in, and that is to some extent true as well. If they have done the same thing on Ether, because ERC20 is so popular already, maybe they don't get enough recognition. But again, will can that decision of doing it on BRC20 than ERC20 can create so much of market uptrend that it contributes to bull run? I definitely don't think so. Which means these are all like small things which could contribute, but n- not strong enough, not capable enough to create the bull run itself.
I agree completely. And even when it comes to RWA, real world asset tokenization, I feel like that is such a futuristic thing to, think about. And at the same time, if we see people in real estate right now who are into the traditional markets, more fond of, how things happen traditionally, they would think of it as a sheer joke. Like, sometime back people thought of as digital currency. You can't see Bitcoin. Why should you get a Bitcoin? Now you have a Bitcoin. I mean, where are you? You are
Don't
in
know,
that world.
then you are outdated. Yeah.
And that's interesting, RWA. But again, it's an interesting tech, still in the development. Like Satvik said, not capable of driving the bull run as a whole. Again, these things can be talked about as a part of it.
Yeah. See, for a lot of people, if they believe these, probably the prices would improve because they have invested. Definitely, there is a possibility, right? But for bull run to be created, that should contribute to such an extent that it's unimaginable, right? So for a market cap project of about 200 million today, can that become 2 billion maybe over 1 year? Definitely possible. But 200 million becoming 2 billion, and one project like that, or maybe 10 projects like that, we are now talking about, if you see the whole crypto market, which is closer to maybe plus minus 2 trillion, I guess, or maybe a little bit more than that. So if you see that, these 20 billion or 100 billion, yes, it is some part of it, like 5% part of it. But that 5% alone can create a bull run. I sometimes see 5% increase in prices in a normal day, good day. So when it can become like 30%, 40%, 50%, or maybe 80%, something like that, right? So that can actually create, and that chances is less. So if the question should be more like, can these be good asset purchases or crypto asset purchases right now? Yes, maybe if you have the portfolio which can afford 100 for crypto, if you're putting 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees for this, just be more, if you want to have less risk aversity, right? So do that, that's okay. But here, bothered about whether it creates bull run or not. If it can give you money, you take your money. That's all it is. If bull run gets created, it should be created with it should get created by people or the institutions or someone whom you cannot even think of. It's extremely big concept, bull run, right? So if you're making money and if you're taking your risk, I think that's pretty much it. It's not always about bull run.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Satvik, you would agree to this, that being an early adopter has its own perks. You get to learn more things, you stand at a, forefront of a certain technology. So I believe RWA might not be a thing right now. Maybe in future, when things are getting more digitized, and Bitcoin is being used for daily transactions, I feel like maybe RWA could have a good utility at that time. Because if you're running out of assets to invest in on the existing land, why not virtually? So, like Satvik, you mentioned, coming back to the topic, which is to avoid FOMO, like you mentioned, now we have more people who are not willing to sell their assets, or let's say their bitcoins as a whole. There was another study that I was reading that says now 80% of the people want to hold on to their assets. There's just 20% of the crowd that would be willing to, sell their bitcoins. Now there's less amount of selling, according to that report. There's BlackRock that's rapidly acquiring bitcoins. MicroStrategy rapidly acquiring bitcoins. Right now, I think BlackRock's holding stands somewhere around 1 lakh 10,000 bitcoins or something. Now, amid all of this, there's also halving coming up, which means that the supply is gonna cut by half, which will, I think, make it something 3.125, if I'm not wrong, the production of Bitcoin per 10 minutes. Now, interestingly, amid all of this supply cut, demand increase, people not willing to sell their Bitcoin, this is bound to create a FOMO. And people from less financially strong background as well see this as a very major opportunity to get into. Now, what would you advise them?
Uh, See, if ETF did not exist at all, I would have believed in this kind of percentage. 80% don't want to sell, 20% want to sell, right? 20% may want to sell and such, and which means there is a extreme demand side pressure than selling side pressure. But we also need to understand, for people who are getting into ETFs, they are getting in because of profitability, but not because of any kind of sentiment. And they actually don't care about whether crypto will be successful after 10 years, 20 years. So now they want to see, if I exit today, I enter today, and if I exit in say 2 months, can I make a few percentage of gain? And if they are not, then for them to swap Bitcoin, I mean, like, sell Bitcoin and use that money to buy equity, is a matter of few seconds of job, and they are not betting their life or peace or anything for Bitcoin or any other crypto. Now comes, what if the price starts falling? Let's say if the price falls to 40K today, there will be a lot of people in the ETF who are holding the ETFs, I believe, who would want to exit positions because whatever they believed, and they are not used to that kind of volatility. When it is bull, it's going, yeah, it went up to 44K, it went to 38, and then it went to 53, 52. This is a very, very green candle story so far, and then average. Everyone will be happy. But now, when the price starts falling, or even it could 52, it could become 60, 70 also. And after becoming 70, if it becomes 60. So the people who would first stand in queue to sell will be the ETFs holders. They now made some profit and they want to exit it. They definitely did not get into this because they believed in Bitcoin. If they believed in Bitcoin, they would have not waited for ETF. Anyway, okay. So it's a you're adding uh, more and more variables to the ecosystem now, and until something happens, we don't know that okay, this was also supposed to happen. Is it kind of thing. But on the other side, when the prices are going up and down, so ETF reacting to it different, but ETFs also provide stability to some extent because the ones who are investing into it and exiting are more majorly from traditional markets. So if there is enough buying demand and selling demand, uh, because it would happen in ETFs. It's not like exchange where okay, no one is selling it and you have to increase price. No one is selling it, but the price goes up. But in ETF, it may not be that tough to have more liquidity on buying side and more liquidity on buying on more liquidity on selling side. So that means it's giving some kind of stability by itself, and it also means the prices will not be that badly volatile. So when the risk is lower, the rewards is lower as well. So eventually, what I'm trying to tell after all of this is, um, like the way we have seen huge bull runs in the past, we may not see a bull run with that kind of multiplier again and again. So can we see 10x? Extremely unlikely. Can we see 3x? Unlikely as well. But it was not so in the last two bull runs. It was a possibility. This time it's much more rigid, much more rigid. Let's see.
Yes, crypto is all about unpredictability and the surprise element it holds, and that is what makes us love it even more and even further. Like you said, Satvik, people who are getting into the ETF right now do not sentimentally care about Bitcoin per se, because when ETF was approved, I think a lot of Bitcoin only channels, or let's say the people or the handles who are bullish on Bitcoin, just had this one very often used phrase of our industry: not your keys, not your bitcoins. That was very much used, and which is very true again. But anything that kind of boosts the adoption is good. Maybe the people who are getting in the ETF right now, trying to understand it a little, testing with their money, if they like it they get into it. But again, I believe with the coming days, it's gonna get harder and harder to get a Bitcoin, because orange pilling is now very far-fetched for any normal Indian. But again, at the same time, it's very interesting to see what kind of Bitcoins can a normal user acquire, with all of these major institutions rapidly getting Bitcoins and kind of acquiring it. So, Satvik, another interesting thing that I want to ask you over here is, we see a lot of, there's this very interesting term called shilling. Now we see a lot of our fellow industry enthusiasts, if I'm to use that term, they have got these large communities, and of course, a person-to-person appeal matters more than any project saying about their own project. These people definitely do influence a lot of people about certain projects, and then people in sheer FOMO, they go and invest in those projects, and in bull runs we have seen most of these projects are rug pulled. Now how do we trust a certain individual when they're saying it?
Just don't trust anyone. It's okay if you don't trust a good person also, but it's very bad if you start trusting a bad person. So if the project is genuine, it will take off and it will do whatever it is supposed to do. And if they are using methods of shilling, see, no one would do that shilling for free, right? So there is some incentive
Obviously.
to do. And if they are paying for that kind of activity, it already may have bad intentions. And to the extent to which such shilling occurs, people now will not realize it's shilling. So they will start looking at some project related banners in maybe sometimes in the web, in Telegram, and the various communities, WhatsApp, no matter what, wherever they go, it looks like, oh my God, everyone is talking about this. How come I don't know about it? Maybe I should invest. That is the effect they eventually want to bring people into. Sometimes they just create, okay, if you show some interest, they'll put you along with a group of about 12 people and say that, okay, you're all called group ABC now. I'll help you with trading, buy this coin, buy that coin. And others in the group along with you will already be saying, oh my God, I got some profit, I got some profit. It will be very, very late for you to realize that you are the only normal person and everyone else already were incentivized to tell whatever they were saying and it's not truth. So one could just say that, oh, I actually was in level one with 500 rupees investment and now I'm getting into level two. And another after 2 days, you will say that, okay, I'm going to level three and I got my investment back 3 times. And you being level one user now going to become level two. So those things are scammy in nature. If something is too good to be true, just move away. Or
I,
else you may get money in one place because you just identified it at the right time. So sometimes people will become intelligent or they become lucky that when they invest 500 they get 750 back. When they invest 1,000 they get 1,500 back, and they stops investing. So you actually didn't lose money because you got lucky. But the entire, and there are maybe two people like you out of 100 and remaining 98 people paid them more money anyway. So be extremely careful. If it is too good to be true, don't go near. And if someone is just messaging you randomly, someone is just adding you into some kind of group, someone is trying to put you saying that, okay, now you are what you are, XYZ, and now you have to go up in the ladder, or you have to invest. Don't get into that. And these things will only become more and more and more during bull run.
indeed, indeed. Bull run
So,
is where token marketing agencies are also very much activated, that I've seen happening, on LinkedIn, everywhere. They'll be just, asking, like I've been receiving so many messages lately on LinkedIn, just on board with us as an early adopter, you get these benefits as a part of the system. I'm like, why? It
Why?
makes no sense, because what project you are creating, there's already a system for the solving the same process in existence, which a much with a much efficient, programmability and everything, be that building applications or anything, like, I just don't see why people are getting caught up in all of those things. But there's something that you also need to know is instinct. Like, if your instinct is going against it, don't just let your heart mellow.
I remember some stories. Someone who is like close enough to me when they were trying to convince me that Bitcoin can only do 7 transactions per second or 10 transactions per second. Now learn about this new coin on a new blockchain. It can do 5 million transactions a second. Where are people to do so much of college? What are you trying? It was such thing like saying that okay, now it's like 5,000 times better or 1 million times better, whatever it is. What is happening, right? So it is literally like saying okay, these two villages are there. There is a connection between two, and it's a single road, and you just have enough traffic. Fine, good. Now, do you need a 20-lane road all of a sudden? Does it mean people travel even though they don't need to? No, they will not. And they still trust one system, and one system they will try to do. You are supposed to go one step at a time to solve. If you're trying to solve maybe the transaction fees, then do that separately. Or if you're trying to say block size, it's different, or time for confirmation is different. But at the end of the day, these are all numbers in a tech software which is open source. Instead of saying okay, now you are no, say block size. Okay, 1 MB per block is for Bitcoin. I can go change it to maybe 100 GB per block. Launch it as a coin. Does it does it mean my coin became superior? But
People
there is
have turned
different
in
level for me to convince at least people who have off knowledge about it to say 1 MB was there in 1982. That long ago, people used to talk about MBs. Now people are talking about GBs and TBs already. That will be outdated soon. And if there are 100 people, at least 10 will listen to me. That's the problem. So without properly understanding the reality, ground reality, just don't go with stats. Transactions per second, blockchain, size. I mean, whatever terms they use, whatever terms they use, at the end, understand that very likely they are using a open source protocol, and all they're talking about is changing some numbers and saying how it's better. And they say that if they are successful, if they are able to raise some money, then they'll put the bigger team together and actually develop it to some project. So it's their attempt at raising money through this. So whether you say it's good or bad, you not being a part of it is good. Yeah.
I think Satvik, this gives us few quick pointers. First of all, guys, about what Satvik talked about right now, the transaction speed of Bitcoin. So explain you guys about this concept, we are having another session next week with our Bitcoin expert, Mr. Sunny, the president and the co-founder of Unocoin, on what is Lightning Network and how does it solve that problem. Second thing over here, Satvik, that I'd like to mention is interestingly, like you said, people are coming up with these kind of things, like, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. On the tech front, like, I have seen this happen a lot on the tech front, where people are very much concerned about what they can build over Bitcoin, and what are other utilities. Bitcoin's utilities are limited. My question is, the utilities you're talking about are so futuristic, do you even need them today? What you need today, that Bitcoin is giving you, is that not enough? You're going so much in future, how is that helping anybody? And the third thing with other projects is, I think with one of my AMAs with Sunny, we randomly started talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So he asked me one question, Shambhavi, tell me, who's the creator of Ethereum? I was like, there was this team of Gavin Wood, Vitalik, and so many people. He's like, now who's the creator of Bitcoin? I'm like, Satoshi Nakamoto. Do you know him? I'm like, no. So that itself is a very, very big narrative as to, looking into a project, why and hows of everything. So there's Vijay Naidu here, Sathvik, who's saying, I love Unocoin application. Vijay, thank you so much for loving us. Please retweet our spaces. Please retweet our posts. And there's another thing that Vijay is saying. Example, credit application starting referral bonus giving gives 250 rupees and also referred person getting in 1,000 rupees. So that type of you give some kind of money or Bitcoin etc. Mind. Sorry Vijay, आपका जो ये comment, it's very unclear. If you could just reiterate it.
Okay, it's okay. They're saying there is a application called Cred, which gives you 50 rupees if you refer someone, and if you get do some whatever it is, reference and referral bonus, and if you give them another person 1,000 rupees and such things, and whether we give such kind of referral bonus and such. I think this is what it's kind of asking. I guess yes. Right now, as well, and it's been that way that people who are signing up different times of when they are signing up, there is some welcome bonus that's already added to the account. It's usually, I think, today 10,000 Shiba Inu coins, something like that. I don't know.
No,
So
I think we give 51% of
no, no,
the
referral. That is referral. I'm talking
yes,
about welcome bonus.
sign up bonus.
Yeah. So actually, when it comes to welcome bonus, we used to give as much as 200 rupees worth of Bitcoin between 2014 to 2018, I guess. And the one who got it in 2014 and 15, now those Bitcoins are worth about 30K, 40K, something like
Where was I?
yeah. And all they did was sign up, and that's it, nothing else. And especially at that time, we used to go for various colleges and promote it, and asking those people, like students, to sign up on Unocoin, just so that they can stay updated on Bitcoin news and articles and such. Yeah, they're a bit rich now. And okay, so that is about the welcome bonus. Definitely, it is there. And when it comes to referrals, you actually have a section in mobile app and also in the web, so where you can go there. You will get a referral key, like u hyphen 3356 or some number like that. And if you use that, and you provide it to person whom you are referring to, and if that person signs up with your referral code, then we know that they are signing up because of you, and whatever transaction fee we collect from them, out of 100 rupees we collect, 51 will be given to you, and we only take 49. Okay. So that plan may change in the future, but right now that is how it is. So 51% of the fees we collect from our users, if there is a person who has referred, actually gets that money. So you actually earn more than what we earn from your referral. That's what it means. So
There's this.
we welcome referrals. Sure.
Yes, and there's this very interesting tagline that comes to my mind, just from the top of my head. This is not friends with benefits. This is benefits with friends. So if you have friends, you can get benefits out of it with Unocoin's referral program. That is for sure. A last comment we have here for today is by. I'm so sorry, I can't pronounce. I think Bhairo Hive or something. मैम बिटकॉइन जैसा कॉइन बताइए यार. बिटकॉइन जैसा कोई कॉइन है ही नहीं, हो ही नहीं सकता है, या हो सकता है. वी बिलीव इन ओपन मार्केट.
It's like asking, can you tell me another metal like gold? Like what?
हाँ, see, it's like another metal like gold doesn't exist, bro. So I mean,
At
just
least for today, it doesn't exist. Yeah, sure.
yes. So just SBP, Bitcoin, that's all you can do the best with the current market scenario and for a peace of mind. Also, guys, now we are, almost above our usual time of AMAs and we'll be closing our session for today. So don't forget to tell us कि आपने अपने crypto journey में FOMO को कैसे overcome किया था. Comment sections are there. We would very much love to hear your stories on overcoming FOMOs. So make sure to drop a comment and tell your little story to us. Thank you so much, Sathvik, for joining us today. It was lovely. It was amazing to learn so much from an expert like you. And it always is in all of our sessions. Guys, stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be talking about Lightning Network and how it is helping the Bitcoin ecosystem. And now that we have integrated it on Unocoin as well, your transactions are going to be lightning fast. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week again. Thank you so much, Sathvik. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.